My first guest tonight is a noted philosopher, metaphysician, and podiatrist. He appears every Saturday evening right here in New York, the town so nice they named it twice, at the 13th Street Theater. Please welcome the one and only Brother Theodore. You look good. Thank you very much for being here. Tell me, I always like to clear up this introduction. Philosopher, metaphysician, and podiatrist. Is that true?
David, David, my tongue is not long enough to give you a full account of what's really going on. Tonight you will have to unlearn all and everything you have ever learned before. All of your information is misinformation, and what you people call science is really nothing but an organized system of ignorance. I say to you most earnestly, it is far more important to go to heaven than it is to go to the moon. But what do we know about heaven? What do we know about the beyond? Do we know what's behind the beyond? I'm afraid some of us here hardly know what's beyond the behind. Yeah. Creatures of twilight and illusion, we drift toward our unknown ends. And that's why I feel the best thing is not to be born. But who is as lucky as that? To whom does it happen? Not to one among millions and millions and millions and millions of people. I'm telling you, in these days of darkness and doubt, in these days of crisis, in these days of confusion, what the world needs is a truly great soul. I am that soul. I am a cosmodynamic personality walking through life in beauty and eternal youth. I'm in the prime of my senility. Now, here, on television, I probably look like a pile of mud, but that's only because television is still in its infancy. I am what you might call a controversial figure. People either hate me or despise me. They would rather shake the devil by the tail than shake me by the hand. But with every failure, David, with every failure, my reputation grows. One of these days, you'll see my picture on every postage stamp. One of these days, I'll Theodorize the world.
Is that a Ban Lawn shirt?
I'm sorry.
I know you were. Now, I know exactly what you were doing. You were making fun of me because you felt I got a cheap laugh at your expense, weren't you?
Exactly.
Yeah.
How do you know?
Well,
I'm squirming with delight to meet an intellectual colossus.
Uh-huh.
Congratulations.
Uh-huh. And
he knew why I was annoyed.
Now, let's talk a little bit about your background.
My background. I come from an extremely bad stock. The members of my family were mostly punks. Punks, blockheads, fishwives, vegetarians, triplets, nail biters. But I have always been happy. I was born in Upper and Lower Bavaria. 2 years after the discovery of dirt, I grew up a child prodigy. At the age of 6, my second novel had been published. Before I was 10, I could change my own diapers.
Yeah.
By the time I was 11, I knew how to wave bye-bye. Now, tonight, all of a sudden, my telephone rang. I never answer my telephone unless it rings. It was a member of your staff who asked me, out of the blue,
Who was it? Do you know the man's name? Was
Yes.
it a man?
Yes, it was a man.
Mm-hmm.
You want me to
I just want to know the name to make sure it really was a member of our staff.
Robert Morton.
Yes, he's on the staff.
He's on the staff. And out of nowhere, he insisted that I should come here and tell you about my last encounter, my final, ultimate encounter with Lieselotte Bindel. Now, I hadn't slept all night long. I had a murderous toothache. I had an appointment with my dentist. And I don't like in the last minute, when maybe some other guest moves out, let's phone the freak Theodore. You know?
Oh, I see. Your feelings are a little hurt. You feel like maybe we used you, took advantage of
You
you.
misused me,
Misused
David.
you? No, I don't. Gee, I don't think so. We call everybody at the last minute. Everybody here tonight, we got a hold of, I
David,
guess, 4:45.
I'm sorry to say that in public. You are a pathological liar.
No. I'll tell you what, you're going to do a little of what you do in the theater for us tonight. Is that correct?
Well, that's what I was ordered to do.
No. We'll be back, and Brother Theodore will then show you what you do if you would go to see him in concert, right? The moment all America has been waiting for, if you were to go see Brother Theodore in person, wherever he appears, Las Vegas, Atlantic City, or the 13th Street Theater here in New York, this is what you would enjoy. Ladies and gentlemen, Brother Theodore.
Lieselotte Bindel. She and I were cousins, and we grew up together in my family's old mansion in the forests of Bavaria, but we grew up differently. I was ill of health, always wrapped in gloom, while she, swift, nimble, graceful, roamed through life, plucking its flowers. Lieselotte Bindel, hauntress of my dreams, your wind-blown hair, your witching eyes, your fragrant lips, your lovely young form. Lieselotte, hauntress of my dreams, your lovely young form, your lovely young form. Athlete's foot! Yes! A sudden fit of athlete's foot befell her. Took hold of her feet, her body, her mind, and her habits, and in a manner most subtle, most hideous, corrupted the very essence of her being. Ladies and gentlemen, in the brightest days of her beauty, I had never desired her at all, but now a sickly, frenzied passion for that itchy chick began to obsess me. An incomprehensible craving. And in an evil moment, I brought up the question of necking. Lieselotte, my love, am I your little sunshine? Are you going to molest me? Buchweizengrütze, she said. And I still didn't know where I stood. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to do. I could only stare at her. Her hair was of a dank yellow and fell over her temples like sauerkraut. Her face was sweaty like a chunk of rancid pork and covered all over with pipple popples and slushy pips. And from her nose unto her chin, the worms crawled out. The worms crawled in. And as I stared and stared, her lips, her thin, shrunken lips parted, and in a smile of maiden modesty, her teeth revealed themselves to me. Her teeth! The moving of a curtain, the closing of a door, Lieselotte Bindel had left the room, but my mind still clung to the image of her teeth. Not one speck on their surface, not one shadow on their enamel had escaped me. They had burned themselves into my memory. They had bitten themselves into my brain. They were small, narrow, pointed, cold, and capricious. They glistened like rusty nails in the moon. Those teeth, those glittering teeth, those luring, quivering, beckoning, promising pearls of teeth. They were my destiny. They are my destiny. Lieselotte Bindel, slut, psycho, the hell with her. You can have her with bells on. She's yours. I want her teeth. I want them now. And I'm going to rip them out myself. Rip them out. 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 Rip, 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 rip. I am not well, my friend. Not well at all. The only thing that keeps me alive is the hope of dying young.
Theodore, thank you very much. Thank you. Some theater, isn't it? Hello there, and welcome back to the program. My first guest tonight is making a return appearance here. The last time he was on the show, he called himself a philosopher, a metaphysician, and a podiatrist. He is a very unique individual with a very unique view on life. Please welcome Brother Theodore. How do you do? Nice to see you, sir. Thank you very much for being back on the program. What do people call you? Should I call you Brother Theodore, or I suppose Ted is out of the question, huh?
Well, you may call me adorable teddy bear.
No, I won't be doing that. Brother Theodore or?
Brother Theodore, anything is okay.
Theodore.
Theodore.
Let's, now we read the introduction there, which is a little joke and so forth. Let's tell the folks what it is you do for a living.
This is nearly impossible, you know. This is one of the questions I dread.
Oh, well, I certainly have selected a good one then, haven't I?
My brochure tells very clearly what I'm doing. I'm a philosopher, a metaphysician, and a podiatrist.
Yeah. And from these areas you earn a living?
From these areas combined, I do earn a rather meager livelihood.
Mm-hmm. Now, you're also, you're a performer in addition.
Yes, I'm a performer, and I'm very upset that today I'm forbidden to perform. Yeah, I was forbidden to perform, ladies and gentlemen. My boss, the handsome young prince, the gorgeous, handsome, witty, charming young prince, forbade me to perform because he feels that if I perform, you will think I'm insane, which I am, but not in the way you think. So now I'm supposed to give a cultured, quiet, well-modulated interview, and I will probably be asked the usual questions, what I have for breakfast. That's your turn.
Yeah. Now you want, let's clear this up. You're being silly. Nobody's forbidding you to do anything, are they?
Well, it wasn't the word forbidding is too strong, but I was told on the telephone that I should refrain.
No?
I should refrain
No.
from being strong, interesting, brilliant, witty. All this is no good. Today they want to find out what makes me really tick.
Oh, no. I mean, that's true. Yeah, that's true. But now the last time you were on the show, you performed, and what happened was we didn't get enough time to talk to you afterwards, so the thinking was this time we'll just talk, and then you can perform another time.
I shall try my very, very best to be cooperative and please you.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're doing a fine job so far. Now I know on other television programs, people have actually hissed and booed you, haven't they? No,
yes,
no.
on these other television shows, I was ordered to be hissed. I was ordered, for instance, I remember very clearly on the Merv Griffin show, he had this guest, what is his name? This horrible, horrible comedian. I forgot his name now.
Well, no, let's get to his name. Well,
No. I really forgot it. He was very famous in those days. And I think Merv detested him. He absolutely detested him. But as he was for 1.5 hours his favorite guest who sat there all the time, the producer of the show said to me in the last minute before I came out, give it to him good, be nasty to him. And we almost came to blows. The audience that had come to see him and not me hissed every word I said and glorified him. But the end result was that when the letters and telegrams came in, the audience was for me and not for him. The audience that had come to see him were for him.
and you won them over.
And I won them. No, I didn't win them over.
You didn't win them over?
No. I won the audiences at home.
Oh, the folks at home, the home viewers.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to continue talking with Brother Theodore about anything you want to talk about. You're not forbidden to do anything, and we'll be right back. Hello, and welcome back to the show. This gentleman, of course, is Brother Theodore. Tomorrow night on our program, we will have vaudevillian Maxie Furman. Do you know Maxie Furman, Brother
No, I
Theodore?
don't know anybody.
Don't know anybody. Well, then, yeah. I guess the likelihood of you knowing this guy would be slim, then. And also comedian A. Whitney Brown. Sounds like a pharmaceutical company. Come on. Pharmaceutical company, doesn't it? And startling predictions from the National Enquirer, plus we answer our viewer mail. That's tomorrow night. And we're talking now with the Brother Theodore, and a few minutes from now, 83-year-old marathon runner Noel Johnson will be joining us. Are you married, Brother Theodore?
No, but years and years of marriage prepared me for years and years of divorce. Divorce American style. We parted friends.
Oh, that's nice.
She got the house, she got the furniture, she got the car, the bank account, 50% of my earnings, and I got custody of the cat. It seems we were not meant for each other.
Yeah.
I was a Scorpio, she was a librarian.
Well, let's just wrap it up by saying I hope you find a woman that you're happy with.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Okay. Now, what about this quadrupedism? Am I pronouncing that properly?
Yeah, please. This was decades ago. This was, I don't want to talk about that anymore. There's a previous incarnation. You see, there are those of us, I have to explain that, there are those of us who dwell in darkness. There are those of us who walk in light. Whatever we aim at, with all our might, that we shall surely achieve. I have always aimed at nothing, and I've always hit it. Now my day is over, and the night draws near. I have nowhere to go, and no one to go with me. I roll in the gutter alone, unshaven, with a coated tongue and a bloodshot eye, and I have no dough left for dope. I hallucinate on tap water. I find it hard to sit still in one spot and impossible to sit still in two spots. My sleeping pills are messing up my horoscope, and when I listen to rock and roll, my eardrums bleed. I detest everything I stand for. To be Brother Theodore is no bed of roses. I'm the bride at every funeral. I'm the corpse at every wedding. Each time I look in the mirror, I burst into tears. The mature beauty of my riper days, carcass disease. There is no mail in the mailbox. The telephone never rings. The party is over. Thank God. Thank God, David. Thank God I'm a Scorpio with the moon in my 12th house. Mm-hmm. That's always been a great consolation to me in my hours of distress.
You ever do any water skiing?
Ladies and gentlemen, I resent this applause. I can say the same thing, and I don't get the applause because I'm not as charismatic as he is.
No, that was just...
Have you ever done any water skiing?
Very nice. Now, we're getting back to quadrupedism. You don't want to talk about that at all. Just give us explain what it is.
I was in those days preaching, and there were good reasons for it that we should walk on all fours. But it is such a complicated, deep philosophical, complex problem that I refuse in a few minutes before a marathon runner comes here. I'm not going to compete with that. You know, yeah. you couldn't explain to somebody who had never heard about Buddhism what Buddhism is.
No.
So I steadfastly refuse to talk about a complex problem of quadrupedism.
Do you mind if I just briefly describe what I know of it? It was your belief that humans should walk on all fours.
Yes,
was that
yes,
okay?
Yes,
just you know, so
yes.
So
Why
that
don't you?
Well, I just did. I mean, that's all I know about it.
Yeah, but why don't you walk on all fours?
Oh, it does odd things to my suits.
Okay.
Now let's talk about. Are you a believer in the occult? You mentioned some of us walk in darkness. Does that?
Yeah, this was a hint that. Well, I should say that until very recently, I would never have believed that I could get interested in any kind of metaphysical goulash. I think it's just plain nonsense. Mm-hmm. Yet, lately I've become quite involved in psychic vibrations. I vibrate whenever I get a chance. I'm full of psychic fluid. I foretell the future. I predict the past. And I don't need a crystal ball, a football, a tennis ball, a mothball, any old ball will do. When the power is upon me, there is no holding me back. I just let loose and prophesy all over the place. I think it's a prophet. It means also it runs in the family. My mumsy and my papsy both died years before I was born. And my sister and my uncle were identical twins, which is probably more than you can say for yourself. Yeah. Right?
You got me there, right. That's for sure.
David.
Yes, sir.
If I seem strange, I won't be around much longer. They are after me.
Who is that?
A secret noodle ring in Minnesota. A secret noodle ring in Minnesota. They want to bump me off because I know too much. My life is threatened from one end to the other.
What is it you know too much of exactly? What?
This is their idea.
Oh.
But look here. I crush them all. I'm telling you here, I crush them all. I'm not to be sneezed at. I'm nothing to be sneezed at. I'm a somebody in a century of nobodies. I've always known it, and now I've said it, and now you know it too.
That's right.
Now, yeah. Ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, if you doubt my words, just look at me now. At the age of 86, not 83, at the age of 86, no wrinkles, no pimples, no pus, no pestilence. At the age of 86, I'm often mistaken in the half-light for 43. At the age of 86, I spent unforgettable nights in hotel and motel rooms and contemplate navels until the wee hours of the morning. electrolyzes my body.
Let me say.
It expands my mind. It shrinks hemorrhoids and asteroids.
You're not 86.
Tell me, David, are you publicly telling me that I'm a liar?
No.
Are you publicly telling me that I promise, ladies and gentlemen, I promise that I will be very nice and very courteous to David because he's well-meaning, he seems to like me. As a matter of fact, he's a fan of mine. But when he said to me, I'm a liar...
No, I didn't say...
But please!
Don't bang nothing here. Don't be... Now, I'm just saying that I don't think America would believe you're 86. You look like a man... Let me guess. Well, you say you're 86. I say you're late 50s.
Well, I happen to be 86.
You're not 86.
Well, if I know...
Let me see some ID.
If I don't have my ID, I have it in the dressing room.
Okay, we'll send him back for his wallet. We're going to pause here. We'll be right back with Brother Theodore. I didn't mean to call you a liar. I was just saying that you don't appear to be a man of 86, and I'm guessing you're probably not 86.
Your apology is accepted.
Okay, good. Now, we got a gentleman coming out later who's 83 and running in a marathon. Do you run at all?
I have a bad leg. 12 years ago, I broke my ankle, and my running days were over.
Mm-hmm. Up to that point, I guess you were fleet as the wind, though, huh? Well, yeah, exactly. What about the future? What do you see for the future? Any plans for the future?
My future is in the past. That's okay with me because only what we have lost forever we possess forever. Only where there are graves are there resurrections. Only when we have drunk from the river of darkness shall we truly see. Only when our legs have rotted off shall we truly dance. As long as there is death, there is hope. All our great spiritual leaders are dead. Moses is dead, Muhammad is dead, Buddha is dead, the Reverend Jim Jones is dead. And I'm not feeling so hot myself.
Let me ask, we're running out of time here. If people want to come and see you, where are you going to be performing in the area?
I will be performing in the area, whatever you call area, yes.
North America.
North America, yes.
Anywhere in...
I'm going to be performing in North America, ladies and gentlemen. And I hate to do a commercial. I detest it, but the management of the theater insisted that I let you know, and the audience know, that beginning of November, on Saturdays at 11 p.m., I will be performing at the 13th Street Theater, a very small, very intimate theater that has the advantage that I can do and say anything I please.
Okay, well, I'm sure people are busy dialing up Ticketron right this very minute. And good luck to you. Come back and see us. Nice to see you again. Brother Theodore, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back with the 83-year-old marathon.